shape.
Go live. We're now on YouTube. Hang on a second. I'm going to give you a 3, 2, 1. 3, 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our final podcast, Wealthonomics versus Foxxonomics, episode number 5. The idea of this show is to sort of talk about here's Wealthonomics, how most people would make wealth, and Foxxonomics is how I see the world. My name is JT Foxx. I am a serial entrepreneur, own a lot of companies. I'm an investor also in a lot of companies and properties. I own my own private equity fund, and I'm also the founder of MillionaireFlix.com. Francie here also is my CEO who runs the entire empire. I just say I have it and she manages it. And that's our relationship here as well. So wherever you're listening to this, whether it's now, later, years from now, Happy New Year. And it's goodbye 2020. Now, 2020 was a record year for some people. It was also a very bad year for some people. And there's some people that are like, well, I'm going to wait until 2021. And so you have 3 categories of people. And today we're going to talk about year in review of success. We're going to talk about the top 5, and there's a lot more than 5, but the top 5 breakouts this year in terms of success. Now, first of all, Pac, how are you?
I'm good. I know we're at the end of 2020. I know a lot of people are like, I can't wait to get out of 2020. But all things considered, yes, there's been a lot of loss. There's been a lot of tragedy. I don't think 2020 was really as terrible as a year as a lot of people would like to think. And I also don't think when, the clock strikes midnight tonight and we enter 2021, it is not an automatic clean slate. We are going to continue to have more of the same. So I think, there were a lot of winners this year. There was a lot of good things that happened. So I think, it's not been as terrible. Yes, there have been terrible things, but it has not been.
I would disagree with you on that. I think it's been terrible for a lot of people, for the majority of people. Yes, wealthy people like me and yourself, and some people, yeah, it's been a great year. But there's a lot of people, a lot of restaurants that have been decimated. A lot of people, their businesses are not back to normal. A lot of people lost their jobs. And yeah, a lot of kids were held back from going to school, some going. So I think overall, the world is not a better place. And I think this is a perfect example that.
I don't know that it's a better place necessarily, but I think it gave a lot of people, I think it was a big reality check for a lot of people. And I think there was a big opportunity for a lot of people that wanted to potentially look at it as an opportunity instead of just saying.
I think people are going to revert back to their ways. You saw that at 9/11, and you saw that in the real estate crash of 2008. And then because people will go back to doing the same thing that they did, right? They forget. And as soon as things open up, people will be like, oh, we're all back to normal as well until the next thing, whether it's another pandemic of some sort or some other world event. And who knows, the next thing might be a nuclear attack of some sort, right? That's going to disrupt this. But this was bad because this actually changed the way of life. This was an assault on our freedom of the ability to be able not constantly walking in fear. And in a time where, for example, when 9/11 or a bad incident happens, people can come together and unite as one country, as one nation, as one world. But that's not happening because we all have to socially distance. You see people, you walk away or you look around, or, someone doesn't wear a mask. Blah, blah, blah. Someone that wears a mask, you're like, why are they wearing 2 masks?
Have a different perspective. Living in Florida, life is relatively back to normal. I mean, yes, there's still people wearing masks. There's some kind of social distancing, but it's really kind of just,
But people in California right now, as they speak here, they're in lockdown. New York's in lockdown. There's a lot of places that are locked down. So, and unfortunately, you only represent about 30 million people. Is it 30 million people in Florida? I think it is. 18, 20, 30, maybe 30 might be high. Hey, everyone's moving there. So it might be 30 million. Yeah, it might end up being there as well. In fact, you probably could Google it while I talk as well. So today we're going to talk about topics, and we're going to go over the top 5 things and maybe not in particular order. But number one, the biggest surprise or the biggest opportunity to make money and success, I would say number one was the stock market. The stock market was at its record high in February, and all of a sudden, bam, did it crash hard. And it was making sense. Businesses were not opening, things were afraid. And then all of a sudden, it went as low as 18,000. I remember because I made a lot of money trading that first week. I had never traded before, which was pure gambling. And if I remember correctly, I was trading something I thought I was trading, but I was not. I was trading the TVIX, but I didn't know. I was just like, sell, buy, up and down. I mean, I was just the dumbest thing. And I made like 200,000. It was the dumbest thing I ever did. And then the next week I lost 60. So I was up like 140, and then I stopped. And so what happens is I got out at 26,000 on the way down, and a bit of it at 23 at the rest. And what happens is things start shooting back up, driven by a lot of people, by apps like Robinhood, and up, that as we speak now, the market is up again. You're over 30,000. So we are in a pandemic. There's still record high unemployment. The world's not back to normal. Things are shut down. And yet the market is higher than it was before the pandemic. Earnings have not supported that. And all driven by a bunch of people just buying and driving it up as well. And, people who took advantage of that made a lot of money, and driven by technology stocks, driven by IPOs, which, by the way, many IPOs doubled their valuation. Things like Snowflake, Airbnb, DoorDash, a lot of these things as those type of technologies stay at home. Zoom, they're actually not in my top 5, but they should be, I guess, because now there are other companies that have surpassed them in terms of growth. But that was a huge surprise. And it's insane what has happened. So what is your thoughts? And I'm going to go over what I think is going to happen.
The stock market or in general?
No, just what do you think about the stock market? The fact that as high was, goes down, and then shot back up.
I think 2020 has been the year in the stock market and in a lot of other things that up is down and down is up. Meaning whatever you thought, what logically made sense, right? Logically, you would say there's millions of people unemployed, tons of companies are hurting, the government's loaning, doling out money to help everyone, which is just going to put us into a bigger deficit. You would think the economy has to go down, the stock market has to go down, and a lot of stocks did go down, but it didn't make sense, right? You had months ago, I was trading at one point. Now I just don't have the time to really follow it, but I was making money on Carnival and Royal Caribbean and United and Delta stock because the stock prices went so low, and then they started to go back up. For what reason? I have no idea, because cruise ships aren't cruising, airlines are, bleeding money. So I don't know. There wasn't a lot of logic to it, which would lead me to believe as we go into next year, as people start getting the vaccine, as things start shifting back to normal, for some reason, I think the market's going to see a lot of volatility. And I think we're going to see stuff going down that we wouldn't think would be going down, because people are going to say these stocks are overvalued. And I think logically, we would say as things improve, the stock market will go up. But things seem to get worse and the stock market went up. So I think as things get better, the market's actually gonna go down, because there's going to be a little bit of a correction.
Well, I'm going to say this. My Foxxonomics view on this as well is, like we saw in real estate, prior to 2008, everyone now is trading, right? You're seeing these people, I made this and I made this, and everyone is now pretending to make a lot of money, whether it's in their Robinhood or their trading accounts, showing pictures of it as well. And I've seen that in the past. Don't forget, I've been in business for 10 years. And I've seen a lot of things of there. And these people are not seasoned traders. And so you have a lot of people that are making wealth by being lucky. They're at the casino, okay? And they're on a winning streak, but it's not sustainable, okay? You cannot keep having that trick. And when it goes down, right? Then what happens? Some of these people are like, they either start buying back at the lowest because they're trying to hedge their bets, not knowing what they're doing. But many people just don't pull out. They kind of hold it to there. And I've seen more people lose fortunes by doing this way. Remember, the house always wins in a casino, and it ain't you. So yes, a lot of people. So I'm talking about a lot of people with money right now. Okay, a lot of people, no, a lot. They're pulling their money out. Hugh Hilton, who I just talked to yesterday, one of my coaches, very high net worth, said, you know what? I've just been pulling my cash out and deals here and there as an opportunity because it doesn't make sense. Okay, the earnings don't make sense. The model doesn't make sense. I mean, it started going up in July and August because the stock market is supposed to be an indicator of what's going to happen 6 months from now. Well, we're 6 months later and we are not any better off. Airlines are not back to normal. Cruise lines are not back to normal. Hotels are not back to normal in most places as well. But you know what? I found out that in Mexico, hotels are operating at 95% capacity. So people are escaping California, Canada, and going to Mexico to escape the quarantines as well.
I think it depends where, because I know there's a lot of resorts that are only at 30 to 40% capacity.
Yeah, I just someone who has a hotel in Mexico told me that. So that's number one as well. Number two, Tesla. Now, I remember Elon Musk saying, I'm going to sell all my houses and all my possessions, and stock was not doing very well, begging people, the California, to start operating cars. And the stock, which was like 300, end up shooting all the way to almost like $2,000 to split. And it's been on absolutely a tear. And what's shocking is I hear the word on the street that Elon Musk sold all his homes and put it all into Bitcoin, by the way. And that was at 9,000. So he's either got the magic touch. And by the way, he needed to hit a certain amount of quarters to get a $700 million payment, a bonus, which he did. The guy went all in. He had that fine from the SEC saying it was going to go to Tesla was going to go to 420, and he had 2 years to pay the fine. And he took the money with the fine and he put it into the Tesla stock, and that 20 ended up being 89 million. And you thought that was a genius move as well. But I'm going to put this in perspective. So GM. General Motors, I believe, sold about 8,000 cars. Tesla sold about 400,000 cars, 450,000 cars. Tesla is worth, I believe, about $600 billion.
Say the numbers again, because you said GM sold 8,000 cars. That number.
Sorry, 8 million cars, 8 million cars. And Tesla sold 450,000 cars. And GM is worth, I think, 58 billion, or less than 100 billion. And you have Tesla worth $600 billion. And that to me is first of all, is Tesla the next AOL, right? You saw that with AOL back in the early 2000s, where it's just like, you got mail, where it just exploded. Where is AOL now? Or is Elon Musk such one of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time? Better than Steve Jobs, some would say, what he's able to do. I mean, he went from an $18 billion sort of net worth to now, almost 125 billion. Over 100 billion in increase in not even a year. That to me is probably one of the great success stories of all time. And you have to give the man credit. You have to give the man credit because he took a risk. Everybody said it was crazy. Short sellers were just wishing for him to fail. And he did it. And he did it at such a level that I actually would buy a Tesla because I'm that impressed with the guy. That's what I would do. I actually probably something in 2020, I'll probably buy a Tesla just because I'm just so impressed. You got to give the guy credit as well. But it doesn't make sense to me again. The numbers don't support it. You could call Tesla a technology company. It's a car company. And by the way, the funny part is the price of the batteries are still more expensive than the engine. And per car, Tesla is not making that much money. And what we're forgetting is you got people like GM and other companies that everyone's trying to, and Porsche, everyone's trying to get into the electric game now. So at some point, there's got to be a competitive disadvantage. that's going to put in the market. They were kind of like first to market as well, but it doesn't make sense. Driven by a lot of these young millennials, Robinhood going there and investing in there with like, let me buy and everything. It just keeps going up and up and up and up. Pac, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think, part of it is Tesla is the first one, meaning if you asked anyone, I'm sure if you walk down the street right now and it didn't matter if the person was 10 years old or if the person was 95 years old and you said, name an electric car, I think I would almost bet everyone's going to say Tesla, right? There's other companies out there. Most people don't know the names of them or who they are. Most people don't know what traditional brand auto manufacturers have electric cars or don't have electric cars. So I think part of it is there is a brand equity. If you want an electric car, I think most people are going to start with Tesla. Are all of them going to buy Tesla? I don't know, but I do think there's a little bit of brand equity there. I think the other piece is there's a lot of people that are just, betting on Elon Musk more than Tesla. I mean, the man put people into space this year as a private company. NASA shut down, basically really scaled down and shut down the space program. And here is Elon Musk and put people into space, not a satellite, not a rocket. He put people into space this year and they returned back home. So safely, right? Everything went very, very safely, which if you look at the beginning of NASA, their first missions did not go so smoothly. So part of it, maybe Elon Musk is just that person that has that, they say there's certain people that have that ability to know what's coming next and what the hot thing is and where to go before everyone goes. And I think a lot of it has to be betting on Elon Musk versus I'm betting on Tesla. And that's the only logical explanation I can put to the valuation.
And if you're watching this, what do you think? And by the way, if you are impressed with Elon Musk, press the like button. If you're a person who's impressed with his accomplishment, press the like button as well. Let's see how many people like the button, are impressed with Elon Musk. I mean, you have to like him, but are you impressed with him? The third one caught everybody by surprise. I remember in April, with the market being shut down all over the world, that the real estate market, the lowest it had ever been, and no sales, and people were freaking out. Okay. Record foreclosures were going to come, and it was doom and gloom by the media, right? And then for some reason, things open up, and real estate agents have been busy, brokers nonstop all over the world. There was a mass exodus of people from downtowns, including people like me, we're downtown Chicago, to move away other places or outside the into the suburbs, because more space, quarantines, not want to be in elevators. You had a exodus of people in New York, New Jersey, and California to places like Tennessee, to places like Florida, to places like Arizona, to places like Nevada, to places like Texas right there. Number one, only for taxes and all this other stuff, but a mass exodus of all those places. And Florida, one of the greatest beneficiary of that as well. People are paying 20% more for homes, just in order to get homes. It is absolutely insane. And now on top of that, there are inventory problems. There are inventory problems where there's such a lack of inventory that in a way the market is down, not because it's not, but as soon as something goes up, you get multiple offers. I know we've got multiple properties as well. Despite that, we have done a lot of deals, a lot of multi-units, a lot of flips, a lot over, but you have to work 10 times harder to make that happen, but we did. But I would say the real estate market, I don't know what's more impressive, the real estate market or the stock market, the more shocking. And I actually would say the stock market. And by the way, what do you guys think? Stock market or real estate market? Because the stock market doesn't make sense. Real estate going up with you got low interest rates and you got people want to move out. That didn't make sense at the time, but now you look at it. I still don't understand the stock market. Pac, real estate market, what are your thoughts on there and how do you correlate it? Are you more surprised about the stock market or the real estate market?
I'm more surprised by the stock market than the real estate market because of the forbearance that was put in so people couldn't be foreclosed on. So I think the fact that there are many foreclosures right now is also because even typically, right? Like, so let's pretend there wasn't a pandemic, there wasn't people that lost their jobs, all of this didn't happen. Typically, you just have people that don't pay their loans, right? Not because of COVID don't pay their loans. There are always foreclosures going on in the United States. There just are. That's, we have clients, we know people, that's what their business is based on, going in and doing short sales and finding people that are in foreclosure. So the pause on there's no foreclosures, right, left people that didn't, they're not being foreclosed on. They don't have to leave their house. So I think that was a piece of the inventory that was missing, right? Because that's just normal. That makes up a normal percentage of just what goes on. And so you were losing that from the people that do that type of stuff, that invest in those to put those homes back on the market. You have all these people that are moving. So the areas where people want to live, i.e. the suburbs, and what I'm going to say are the red states, right? All the people that lived in the cities that are usually Democratic want to go to where there's less restrictions, the taxes are lower, they can get a bigger house for the same money that they have a condo or an apartment in a city, and have their own pool instead of a shared pool or, from living in a building. So wanted to go to those places. So the places that were in demand were hot. There's no foreclosures in those areas to add to the inventory. And you just had this, I'm seeing it every day. All these people making offers sight unseen, right? Just literally looking at pictures and making offers. So it's shocking to me in the sense of, how are there this many people unemployed, but also this many people buying homes right now?
But it's not just America, it's also the UK, the outskirts of London, the outside have just got insane in a lot of places in Europe as well. But you're right. A lot of the evictions, they've been held off at a lot of places. The foreclosures have yet to happen as well, which is why, and I'll make my prediction about what's going to happen in these categories in a minute. The other one is Bitcoin. So I remember 3 years ago, you and I are very heavily involved in Bitcoin and Bitsun and all that. And it was at the start, and then right around the holidays from 19,000, it starts going to 17,000 and then go down, 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 down. Difficulty of mining. And all of a sudden, I remember going all the way down. I think 2,600 was the lowest it went. And everyone and their mother was into Bitcoin, like, oh, hey, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And then it went down and nobody said a thing. And then it was about 9,000 August, September. Then 11,000, 12,000, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Is it going to break 20? Yeah, 20, 21, 22. And now 29,000 as I have this here today. Driven a lot by obviously, PayPal and Stripe getting involved into Bitcoin. A lot of people saying it's a better hedge than gold, but it's not backed by anything. It's not regulated by anything as well. But that would be one of definitely the biggest surprise as well. But to me, I always said, you're either gonna make more money than you've ever dreamed of about it, or you're gonna lose it all. And I still stand by that statement, even though obviously it's now more mainstream. But all it takes is for the US government to say, this is what we need before you, because at some point governments ain't just going to let this unregulated thing keep going. I mean, when you're at $30,000, almost $30,000 for a coin. And now what happened? You got grandma. Right?
That's not even a physical coin.
Right. And you can't even see, and then you got grandma getting involved again. You got everybody getting involved into Bitcoin. It's starting to look a lot like, like the past, where people are just getting over. And a lot of people, when are you going to stop getting involved in things? When they're hot. If it's too hot, chances are you're late. Now you can make a little bit of a spread, but when it goes down, bam, you can go down big. Pack, thoughts about Bitcoin right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bitcoin, we understood we know what Bitcoin is. We know how it works. I don't think you or I fully grasped like why Bitcoin. We understood it, but I don't think we were, it was kind of like, we never really grasped, okay, why from day one, it was like, it's going to be huge or it's going to be a flop. And,
we were more afraid that it was going to be a flop, not for us, but if our clients end up being flop, right?
And Bitcoin has had a lot of volatility. It's gone up,
and scams.
Yeah. And I mean, the problem with Bitcoin and the lack of, I can't even say the lack of regulation, but it's just like people being like, oh yeah, pay me in Bitcoin. Oh yeah, pay me in Bitcoin. And then the thing with Bitcoin is there's no real trace of where it went, who it went to, what, like, with the bank account, right? There is a routing number to an account, and then what account that it went to or didn't go to or was supposed to go to based on how you execute a wire. With Bitcoin, you send it to someone and you just send it into the ether. And if it wasn't the right person, or if that person scammed you, like it's gone PC. Like there's no, you're getting it back. There's no, really even trace of who that individual was. So it is very easy for people to scam people. I mean, who knows, right? And Bitcoin right now is at 30. 3 months from now, who knows, it could be back at 3. Like, because I think Bitcoin is more driven by fear of traditional
government,
dollar
devaluation. Yeah.
Right.
So, all right. So the last one that I was very impressed on, and then I'll get you guys to vote on which one, and I'll go over my prediction for each, is Bill Ackman, the private equity fund manager, hedge fund manager. And he put a trade in the month of February for $35 million that the market would go down. This is before the pandemic. And that trade ended up making him $2.3 billion in 2 months, a record trade of sort. And some call it one of the greatest trades of all time. And ironically enough, he about a month ago put a similar trade again, and obviously saying, I hope it doesn't happen. And he got a lot of flack for that trade, for shorting the market and going on CNBC where he had disclosed that. So he kind of got the short end of the stick. But I believe he's up 70% this year, which is really, really good. So Pac, is that risk-taking, or is that just you're damn good at what you do?
I think it's a little bit of being damn good at what he does. And I mean, if he got a lot of flack for shorting the market, right? And a lot of people, and then going on CNBC and saying how all doom and gloom. I think the reality right now, if you're shorting the market is so high, it's got to come down at some point. One would say it's got to change.
Gotta, shoulda, woulda, ain't happening. Nothing makes sense.
But we also the president is going to change. There's a lot of things that are about to change that that are going to make a change in the market, if nothing else, out of people having that knee-jerk reaction. So with the changing of the president, we'll see what happens with the Senate to see how much is going to get through or not get through based on those last Senate seats that are up for vote here in less than a week. Then you also have, as people start as the vaccine starts becoming more regulated or available and people start taking the vaccine, you're going to have less novice dumping money into the market, driving something. Like there's going to be a little bit of a correction. And at some point, foreclosures are going to happen again, and the real estate market is going to balance out. So you would think in theory, nothing has made sense this year. So my brain would logically tell me there has to be a market correction, but all logic has gone out the window this year.
All right. So before I go over my prediction, what's going to happen in every one of these categories, also, we had also honorable mentions of Amazon should have been listed there because obviously they take over things like Walmart, things like Airbnb and DoorDash and all those, which have been, IPOs were just should be part there. But I can't mention everything in this short amount of time. So for all of you, you need to vote. What is the winner of the greatest success story of 2020, in your opinion? Is it Bitcoin? Is it real estate? Is it the stock market, or is it Bill Ackman, an individual with the greatest trade as well? What is your top pick out of those five? Put it in there as well. Pac, what is your top pick of the most impressive this year out of all of them, those five things? Who wins the?
I'm going to say the stock market based on longest trending upward, right? It wasn't like one really good move. The stock market is just like blown up.
I am going to take Tesla, $100 billion added to his net worth, really the company to 600 billion valuation.
Is it Tesla or Elon Musk? I think you're taking Elon Musk, not really Tesla.
Well, okay, so let's do another debate as well, and I'll let you pick. I'm going to give you five entrepreneurs, and I want everybody to vote. Five entrepreneurs, and they don't have their money. They just basically, you start up from scratch, but you could partner for this person. Five people. Who would you start a business? Doesn't matter what type of business. You're going to start a business. You don't know what yet. Think about this as like The Apprentice, right? And you get to pick a partner, okay? Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and who am I missing? Jobs, Gates, Bezos, or Warren Buffett. Buffett, Gates, Musk, Bezos, right? Those five people. Which one, or JT Foxx for you? No, which one do you start a business with? You got five of those people. You only can pick one to start a business to partner with. Which one do you take out of all of them? Now, you got to take in mind, you're going to have to work with them. You got personalities. You got all these things. Who do you partner up with? And I want everybody in the comments, who would you partner with? Let me see what everybody says here.
Comment a little bit before we give our answers. Buffett, Bezos, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, or Musk, Elon Musk, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I know who I would pick. I mean,
I know it's JT Foxx, but I'm not in this. I know I'm not in this.
Yeah, I know. So, and like the reality is, they're all winners, right? It's not like. I
know they're all winners. Every single one of them is very successful. I mean, listen, they're the richest people in the world, but which one do you pick to partner with? Which one? Okay. Now pick one.
I would personally, pick Jeff Bezos, and it's more so out of, I don't know that I could work with Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. Like, I think Elon Musk is a genius, but I think like he's got to be crazy. Steve Jobs, I think, is
very similar. Yeah, Warren Buffett would let you do whatever you want, though, Pac.
Right, but I also don't like that. I like a lot of like a lot of the things that Jeff Bezos has adopted.
Hey, Bill Gates is also a very hard driver as well. So let's, Mike Slater.
Right, and I think Bill Gates is very, very, very left brain. So for me, I think there isn't a wrong choice. And for me, I'm just going on more of a personality thing. Like, obviously Jeff Bezos works really hard. He's really smart. And he's definitely a driver, but I do think he's not quite to like the crazy factor that some of the others are. So that's why and I've adopted a lot of the Amazon things that he's done in Amazon, in our own
Considering company. The person who's now boycotted Amazon on the previous podcast, are you back now on Amazon?
So for Christmas, unfortunately, I was given a lot of Amazon gift cards. So I now need to spend the Amazon gift cards, and then
You can always re-gift them to me. I will gladly take it off your hands and buy more socks.
So even one of the things I bought with the gift card is lost. I think it's all like,
maybe it's your problem.
People that they're hiring that are not like professional package delivery people that are just like, oh yeah, I'm going to deliver packages and make money with Amazon. And they're just freaking stealing packages. That's a conversation.
So I will take, who do you think I'm going to take? By the way, for those of you who are answering, who do you think I'm going to pick? Who do you think I'm going to pick? Some of you know me very well here watching. By the way, if you're watching, press the like button. It helps this show to get the words out. Who do you think I'd pick?
For you, and again, it comes down to a personality thing. I think you would go with Warren Buffett because I think you and a lot of the others just fucking argue and clash. And like you and Steve Jobs and you and Elon Musk and you and Bill Gates, no freaking way.
I know, but Warren Buffett, he just puts money in and just invests. Now, I don't know, like I have to partner with the dude. I don't know if I have his money. Like none of us start with money. We're just partnering with people. And Warren be like, Warren, I would have to do all the work, and Warren would just put the value, be like value investing. Let
would be like, you could kind of do what you wanted, and he would kind of like, if he trusted you, he would just kind of back you to do what you wanted, which I think is what you need over a Steve Jobs that's going to like micro analysis, detail everything you do, or Elon Musk or Bill Gates, way too left brain for you to be able to.
I am going to take. Let's see what the people think I'm going to pick. I am going to take Steve Jobs. And I know it's crazy and stuff like that, but here's the thing too. I'm also the type of person who also knows my role in the food chain. So yes, I'm very successful, but when I deal with other successful people, I know my role in the food chain. And at the end of the day, who knows like where Steve Jobs would be today, or even the new things Apple would have done had he still been around. And Tim Cook has done a great job. Although I have to say, in the last few months, definitely Elon Musk is there. But like, I'm not into cars and I'm not into like space. And he's very like physicky, sciencey, and you know, like I know some of the conversations that Mike Slade, who's a very much a personality like me, one of our coaches, you know, me, who's best friends with Jobs, best friends with Gates. And I'll ask him the question if he thinks who I would be better friends with. Actually, that's a better question because he's a lot like me. And he was best friends on that. So I think we'd have opposite. And apparently Steve Jobs like funny people. And I'm funny. So there you have it. So I think that would have been.
Picture you in the one, you know, the one Jobs movie. I forget the chick that plays his assistant. Like, yeah. Not that you would be his assistant, but I cannot picture you in that role.
I'm not his assistant.
No, I know.
But thank you, though. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, you would have to deal with him. I'd be like, Pack, deal with Steve. Pack, deal with Steve. You talk to him.
What, the business partner? Heck no.
So there you have it. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for listening. If you want to listen to more of the show, press the little subscribe button on the bell so you get alerts that when we go live. I would appreciate it if you can share. This is a great show. We're going to do this every single, when are we doing this now? Every Thursday, every Friday? When are we doing this?
It will traditionally be, no, Thursday. Yeah, this is normal time.
Every Thursday in around this time, 9:30 Eastern time, we will be there. We are here for you. Spread the word as well. Happy New Year. Be safe. My predictions going before. Real estate market, as long as interest rates are going to be low, which they will continue to rise. Stock market will revert. Tesla will revert. Bitcoin will revert at some point as well. And I think it'll stable off and revert. You'll probably see it closer between the 20 to 25,000 in my opinion as well. I don't think it goes to 50,000. I think regulation comes in very, very in at some point as well. At the end of the day, what goes up always comes down. And when you're on a run, now it's time to start looking at how to hedge and protect your bets. I'm going to have a few shorting positions just in case. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm going to make a lot of money. But the lesson to you in the end is nothing is wrong when you take a profit. Yes, you could have made more money, but a profit is a profit. Give us your thought on what you thought on this show here as well. We appreciate all of you. And remember that at the end, success is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. Francie is partnering with Warren Buffett, and together they do 6 hours of reading a day. And then they just. Oh, you checked Bezos? Oh.
I picked Bezos. I thought you were going to pick Buffett.
You thought wrong. Because I want somebody to do the work. I'm always doing the work. I need someone to do the work. with me, to go like come up with things, have the same work ethic as me. So, and Bezos and Musk have that same work ethic. Buffett is great. He's great. It's just, and Jeff Bezos, I don't know. I don't know enough about him to do. But anyways, you cannot go work for Amazon. And if Amazon hears this, Francie is on a serious non-compete that the only job she can get is in Mars. And the only person that could steal you away is Elon Musk once there's a colony set up in Mars, which we can set up a business there. We'll just send you as an experiment as well. But you know what? I would have added another person, Richard Branson, there, because I know Richard. I've been to Necker Island. He's also, that would be more of your style. He does a lot of crazy things, but it's interesting. Love entrepreneurism, and that's what it's about. So all these ballers and these fake Lambos and these planes and stuff like that, that's not what business is about. That's it for us as well. You guys go in there. I know there's some Australians that are in New Zealand that are watching this right now in the middle of the night, and it's a New Year's for them. So very, very impressive. Thank you all for your loyalty. Like the button, subscribe, share it. Means the world to us as well. It really helps the show grow and inspire more people as well.